everybody, my name is Chase Pipes, and you're watching Chasing History, brought to you by the Smoky Mountain Relic Room and the American Digger Magazine, and we are... it's cold, but it's awesome. We're back on site with our buddy Ty Lamph. Ty, thanks for having us out. You guys might remember Ty from earlier episodes. You know, Ty is the guy when it comes to dinosaurs, fossils, and science, man. And he has started something so cool here that we want you guys... You want to dig dinosaur? Do you want to dig dinosaur bones? Do you want to dig dinosaur bones? You can come here to this site and dig dinosaur bones. Ty has started a dinosaur dude ranch.
Yeah, that's what we're calling it.
That's awesome, man. Tell us about the operation you got going on.
Well, we've been digging this site for about 6 years now, and it's a big stream channel, and there's lots of bones, and a lot of it's common stuff. We do find some rare things in here, but a lot of it's common, and we'd like to share that with everybody. I mean, we've got cabins, we've got water, we've got power, we've done all this infrastructure up here that we can use now, and we're going to bring people in. People can come, spend the night, spend a week, come dig, work on the bones, they can find their own things, and you get to keep some of what you find.
That is beyond awesome. You get to keep some of what you find, you know. He's got a great system lined out. This is like the nicest digging thing I've ever been on ever. They're cabins and they're heated. They're cabins, dude. Cabins, food, the whole 9 yards.
Flushing toilets, shower, the whole 9 yards.
Toilets are heated like you guys don't understand. This is nice. Yeah. This is nice. And you can discover some history. So Ty, tell us about this formation that we're digging in. Where are we located? What's the formation?
The nearest town is Dinosaur, Colorado.
Okay.
We're in the Morrison Formation, which is Jurassic. And what we've got is an old stream channel that all these big bones have washed into 150 million years ago, 160 million years ago.
So we're digging in a big stream channel, and that's why we've got this concentration like what we have here.
Big log jam.
So tell us about this concentration here. What's going on?
You've got a big log jam of bones. So this was the edge of the stream channels. It's hard to see on camera. You'll have to come out here and check it out to get the full geology of it. But this is the edge of the stream channel. So as the river was coming around a bend, all these bones jammed up, just like you see logs and stuff do today. You've got a giant scapula. This thing's almost, and a coracoid. This thing's almost 6 feet long.
So scapula, what part of the body is that?
That's like the shoulder blade on a big sauropod.
So that's the shoulder blade, and that's 6 feet long.
6 feet long. So you're like an 80-foot dinosaur right here.
That's nuts, dude. That's so cool. Yeah. What do we got going on here?
That's just one single rib. And we don't have it fully exposed yet, but the rib head itself is, you know, it's yay wide.
So this is the rib head,
so
this part right here.
Yeah, you're going to have a rib that's 8 feet long.
So this is an 8 foot, what are you going to do with an 8 foot rib?
Well, we'll stand it up. We'll repair it. We'll prep it out. We'll stand it up. It'll make a great display for somebody.
That's nuts, man. What do we got going on down here?
Well, this is something that as you're digging, things change. You find a bone and you don't know what it is, and you start digging, you go, oh, I think it's that. As you dig it more, you go, oh, it changed into this. And I think what we actually have now is you look and there's 4 of them in a row there. So what we're going to have is an articulated, these are the spine tops. So we've got 4 vertebrae that are going to be articulated right there in a row. So you got a big part of the spine, all as one section right there.
That's nuts, man. So when people come out, what's the plan? Get them down in the hole and get them to start digging?
It's gonna be a little bit custom for everybody.
Okay. So
it depends on what they want to do. You know, I mean, you can come out for one day, one night, and just get the feel for it. You know, dig around a little bit, get to play on some bones, get to see it, get to, you know, find a few little things and go on your way with the rest of your vacation. Or you can come out here and spend a week and help us get one of these giant things out of the ground.
You can come spend a week and dig a giant bone. How awesome is that, man? But, you know, like you were saying, you know, it's custom tailored.
It is.
To, you know, the experience that you want. And no matter what the experience that you're going to get out here, I mean, we are in the wilds of the West. We're not very far from Dinosaur National Monument, Dinosaur, Colorado. You know, we're out in a beautiful landscape. And any kind of dinosaur discovering experience that you want, whether it be to find a small little bone or dig out something giant and awesome, you can do. And, you know, it's we're not going to give you any prices on anything because it's by experience.
It's going to be custom, it's going to be a little bit more custom depending on what you want to do, what you want to keep, things like that.
But here's the thing, guys, is this is affordable. Like, this is really, really, really affordable. I mean, you know, you're going to spend just as much out here as you would at a week in town, you know? I mean, it's comparable to just a nice little vacation. This is affordable. Anybody can do this. And this is the kind of opportunity that Ty is doing, is allowing anybody the opportunity to come out here and to do this and to experience discovering this history. Because, you know, how all right, so we were talking about the Morrison, you know, a little bit earlier. You know, how big is this formation? How rare are these fossils?
This formation's huge. It's like 1,200 miles. It goes from Arizona all the way to Canada, basically, and it's exposed. And there's dinosaurs all over the whole thing. But to actually have private land that you can dig and keep or sell fossils off of is not very common. And we've got private land right here that we found that has these dinosaurs, so we're able to actually dig and keep and sell these dinosaurs.
And see, that's awesome. I mean, this is a completely legal operation. You're on private property. I mean, this is a really cool opportunity to get to come and experience this. You know, how you know, we're talking about, you know, the rarity of dinosaur fossils in the grand scheme of things.
Well,
how rare are fossils?
We've got 40 acres right here. We've got 5 quarries like this on this 40 acres. The property next door has 3 or 4 quarries. The property next to that has 2 or 3. There's a BLM section that has no quarries but has dinosaurs weathering out. The next property has 4 or 5 quarries, and then it's BLM again for hundreds of miles. And there's dinosaurs, this many quarries, the whole length for 1,200 miles.
1,200 miles. That is insane.
But you can't dig them.
Right. Yeah. We've got other episodes that get into that get into that, you know. But the point is that, guys, when you come out here, you're going to find something.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, we've been poking around here for a couple days, and we've, you know, we've hit a whole bunch of bone. I mean, you're gonna find something.
It goes from people always show up and they go, "Oh, I want to find a bone," and within a day or two, it's, "Oh no, I found another bone."
Yeah.
Because they get tangled up and you have to get them apart, and you can't get your bone out because there's stuff
so many bones.
The top of it all.
Yeah. Yesterday we were like, crap, I found another bone. Crap, I gotta get this bone. There's you are guaranteed to find something.
Oh yeah, you will find bones. Yeah.
Now, you know, I see you've got some plaster jackets down here.
Yeah.
What do you got going on down here? Let's walk down into the hole right here.
Alrighty.
All right, so what do we got going on down here with this?
So what this is actually a couple different bones. There's a little sacrum, and then this is all a stack of vertebrae. It's hard to see now that's in plaster.
Yeah.
But that's the centrum, that's the spine top. That's one vertebrae that's that tall.
That's
and there's
nuts.
5 of them stacked on top of each other right there.
That's nuts.
Everything out here is huge in these quarries. These big sauropods are just giant.
Yeah.
So when people come out here and dig, they've got a couple different options they can do. And we usually have people bounce around. They get to try a little bit of everything. We've got big bones that you can work on and learn how to work them down and get them out. And at some point you'll get to help get your hands plastered and put these jackets on, which protects them. And then when we get them protected enough, we can actually turn this over. We'll actually pull it out of the ground, flip it over, clean the bottom side, and this is for transportation to keep it from getting damaged. Or there's another layer underneath that we call salt and pepper that has a lot of teeth, a lot of little fragments, a lot of broken up limb ends, small bones, things like that you can sit there and work on, and that's more of the stuff that you'll get to keep and as you find. You know, obviously you find something like this, you're not going to carry this home with the van with you.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I mean, I can try. If you heard from me, try.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can try, but you know, but we do work with people. If they find something they want like this, we can work with them. Get it out of the ground the rest of the way for them, prepare it, stand it up on stands, and you'll have a showpiece for your office, for your house, for, you know, whatever you want to do.
And so, but that's something that you guys can do is if somebody finds a really awesome bone,
Yeah,
no, they don't have the skill or the knowledge to prepare it, but you can take it home for them and prepare it and fix them up, get it back to them.
You bet.
That's so cool, man. And I mean, and I've had these guys, you know, I've bought repair work from these guys. If you go inside the relic room, there are fossils in the relic room that are repair work that these guys have done, and they do fantastic work. So let's do this. Let's go take a quick jaunt down to the your campsite down there. We'll check out the camp. We'll come back and we'll close it up. So we'll show you how nice camp is. All right, let's go check that out. I gotta say, man, that camp is awesome. That is so cool, man.
Put a lot
It's
of work
nice.
in it.
Ty, we have hiked like way the heck up here on top of this friggin' mountain to show you guys what the geology looks like. Explain the geology of the site that you got going on. Well, first, where is your site from up here?
It's in the Morrison.
All right,
It's
so
down there. I don't know if you can see it. The dig in the mountain down there. That's the quarry.
right down there.
See the big scar in the hill where we removed all the overburden. Now that's the Morrison Formation of the Jurassic.
Okay.
So what you have is we're at the toe of the Uinta Mountains right here. And as the mountains raised up, you had all these layers that formed that were flat. So it's like a book laying on the ground. And as the mountain raised up, it pushed all these layers up. So now you've got all these stacked up layers poking up. And as the hard layers eroded slower than the soft layers, you get all these big rock protrusions like you can see out here, where you can see one layer curve around and the next layer curve around.
See, and that makes sense. If you guys look off over there, see how these layers go up at an angle? That's what we're hunting, is we're hunting these layers that are up at an angle, and specifically the Morrison Formation. Now, remember, guys, a formation is just this little thin line of soil that is identified, that is marked, and it runs right along through there. You can see where the camp is right there.
It's the very last set of hills out there. Now, the Morrison's more clays, it's not as much hard rock, so it erodes a little bit faster. That's why it's the little hills without the big outcrops on it. Now that row of hills, it's the Morrison Formation, goes from Arizona all the way to Canada.
So, okay, so this that we're seeing here, because I mean, we're finding a lot of bone in your spot,
right
you know,
on that core, yeah.
and so, but is it going to be stacked like that the entire formation?
Everywhere I've ever seen on the Morrison is like that. Everywhere I've ever talked to anybody that's been on it, it's like that. There's dinosaurs every 100, 200 feet on the whole Morrison Formation.
And so, you know, we see this expanse going right here. How far that way does it go, and how far that way does it go?
Another 800 miles and another 400 miles.
Okay, so where we're digging, it's like that. 800 miles that way, and what is it?
400
and
miles?
400 miles that way.
Yeah.
You know, this is kind of that overarching thing that we're trying to get across to everybody, is that dinosaur fossils and bones really aren't that rare. It's just they're hard to get to. It's hard to find. I mean, look, surround us. This is pretty remote, you know, and it's just getting out. What Ty has been done is gets out, walks around, looks for this stuff, finds it, digs in, digs down to it, and hunts it. But the bones themselves aren't rare. You just got to get out and get to it. So
What you run into a lot of times out here in the West is the public lands. I love our public lands. We're able to come out here and hike like this and run around and see things and do things, and you're just fine to do that. You can jump off the side of the road and hike all over the place out here, but you can't collect vertebrate fossils there. So when you look down there and you see where our quarry's out, there's one little square right there that took in the Morrison Formation, and all the rest of it is public lands that nobody can collect on. So that's why our quarry's where it is. It might not be the best spot to find dinosaurs, but it's the only spot that's available legal for us to find dinosaurs.
that makes sense. Yeah, because, you know, like we've been talking to you guys about, you know, over our other videos is that, you know, it is very important not to collect on public property, you know, because the laws say that, you know, you're not allowed to. It's the laws. You cannot collect vertebrate fossils. So one of the things that Ty's got to do is when he's hunting these spots, he's got to make sure that it's on private property. And of however many miles that way, however many miles that way, that little square that he's hunting is private property.
Yeah.
So, and you know, and that's kind of a shame because, you know, if you think about it, all that exposed edge for 400 miles, all that exposed edge down there, these fossils are eroding out and they're being destroyed, you know, and that's a shame that you're not allowed to collect them.
It is. It is. There should be some sort of a permitting process to allow people to do it, because there's so much of it that's known. I mean, how many 80, 100-foot dinosaurs can you stand up?
Right.
Who's gonna, you know, you could send crews out here and just dig them non-stop. But we don't have enough museums, we don't have the funds, and the paleontologists don't have the money and the funds and the people to do that.
Right.
So they're after something new, scientifically important, that they can do studies on, papers that they can learn more from. The stuff that they've already learned, you know, about as much as they can about that animal, they move on and they just leave it. They don't collect it anymore.
Well, America has been hunted out. That's why all of American paleontologists are over in China right now.
Yeah.
You know, because that's where new discoveries are being found. You know?
Yeah, they've been digging the Morrison since the 1870s.
Yeah.
Marsh and Cope were digging the Morrison. You know, that was the dinosaur wars 100 years ago. They were out here fighting over who could find the dinosaurs the fastest on it.
We'll have to bring you a separate episode on that. That's a great story.
That is a great
story. But, well, I guess what we're going to do now is we're going to hop down and hike back way back down that way to the quarry and head back and hunt some more dinosaurs. So, all right, you guys ready for the hike? Let's roll. You know, there's a lot of complex digging maneuvers that we're doing out here. I mean, it's not just like, you know, dive into the ground, bone. I mean, there's a lot of meticulous little work. I mean,
there is. I mean, the bone we're digging in, the layer we're digging in is soft. It's a soft clay. So the bones are soft as well. So as you work down the bone, you've got to be careful and not tear the bone up. And if you come out and dig with us, what we do is when we get to big bones, if that's what you want to work on, we'll work one-on-one with you. We'll pick a bone out, we'll find a bone like this, and we'll work. You take one side, I'll take one side, and we'll show you how to work the dirt away from it, how to stabilize it, how to prepare the bone for the jackal.
And see, that's an awesome thing is because you're just not throwing people out here. You guys aren't going to be thrown to the wolves and just, you know, good luck, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to do an on-site tutorials on how to properly excavate dinosaur bones.
Yeah, when you're done digging here, especially if you spend a couple days, you'll know how to dig dinosaur bones the right way.
And then you'll be able to go, you know, wherever and have the skill set in order to get these bones out of the ground and safely and do it safely. Yeah. So that's awesome. So show us some of the techniques that we're using. So
I mean, our basic toolkit, most stuff we use, you got your brush. You've seen that on every Jurassic Park episode. Unfortunately, that's as far as it goes. Now, what we use the brush for is when you clean it off, you don't want to glue material to the bone that you're going to have to take off later. So you brush it out so you can see it really well. We use a lot of glue. It's a nice acrylic glue, a super glue. And what you're doing is you're getting the glue down in those cracks and down in that bone to stabilize and stiffen it up.
Okay.
And all you're doing is you just work around the bone and you're just pulling these pieces off as you go.
So just slowly with the knife, just going and going and going.
Point towards the bone, you work away from the bone. I mean, there's some things we'll teach you how to do it to do the least amount of damage and least amount of harm to the bone.
Pop and glue. And that's something where, you know, you or one of your staff are going to be here on site, you know, teaching people on how to do this.
We'll be just right there next to you.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll be working the same bones as you are. We'll be working just a couple feet away. See how that separates off that bone like that? And then when it separates off,
just brush it.
You get the dust and debris off, and you get a little glue in it to keep it from falling apart anymore. Then you work to a different spot while the glue sets up, and you just keep working back and forth.
Keep going until you get the whole bone exposed.
Now, unfortunately, some of these take a little while because you can see how tangled up they are. Getting these separated without breaking them up is the hard part.
Yeah. You know, and here's what's wild is you've got such a jam of bones in here. Dude, what is going on? I mean, what all have we got going on?
Well, what we've got going on is you had a big 80-foot animal that died on the side of this riverbank. And the water rose or flood come down and it pushed all these bones down into a log jam. Just like you would see today, big logs and stuff would all get tangled together. So you've got a big scapula, big 6-foot scapula. You've got all this tangle of ribs all over sticking out. These are all the tops of vertebrae. So you've got all these parts of the same animal, but they're all just kind of jumbled together, just all got pushed together into a big pile.
So kind of like you see logs going down the river, they were basically body parts and bones that just got... That is nuts, dude! That is crazy! So that's insane. I mean,
you think of Serengeti today. We've all seen those nature documentaries where the river's drying up and the water holes, and you've got half a dead hippo and half a dead elephant and a bunch of gazelles all dead and rotten and bones scattered all over the bank. And the spring flood comes in, it pushes all that stuff down, and somewhere all that stuff gets jammed up together.
And that's exactly what happened
what we have
right here.
160 million years ago.
That is nuts, man. So, you know, I mean, the process of figuring out what bone is what, and what species goes to what, how do you determine what species
Well, you got to get the bone exposed enough that you can actually identify it. A lot of them, like a rib, there's not a lot of difference between them. So you've got to study the books, you've got to study all the plates and the pictures and try to see if this one's only got a curve this way on this animal, this one's only got a little notch right here on this animal. And it can be time consuming, it can be really tough.
It's just nuts how much bone is come here, guys. You need to see this. And the only way to do it is to just grab the camera and bring you down. But I mean, look.
So here's a good way to look at it. These are spine tops.
So
this is the top of a vertebra. So this vertebra is probably going to be 3 to 4 foot tall. There's a spine top. There's a spine top. There's a spine top, and there's a spine top. So we know we have
1, 2, 3, 4 spine tops.
Vertebrae that are articulated together. So you can have a section of spine that's still all together. Now somewhere along this lines, this rib come floating down the river and ran into that spine top and wedged up against that spine top right there and got stuck. And this is where it gets hard, is starting to separate this stuff out.
Yeah,
but what this also does, it also gives us the direction of flow. The only way that's going to hang up that way is if the water was flowing this way.
Right. And I mean, and there's just bones in other places. Like, look, you've got another bone.
Yeah, probably
bone right
rib
there. You've got some coming up. See,
all
this
across.
Bone is going all the way up
Barely
through that way.
exposed.
You've
This
got
one
another
here.
rib.
Now this one we snapped off in order to get out of the way and work. We did a clean break on it that we can repair very easily. And there's actually another one of these ribs sticking in this side up here that we did the same thing. But so you've got another rib here, you've got another rib here, another rib here that we snapped off. This we're not sure what this is yet.
So that's an unknown.
That's an unknown. We've got a rib going in right here, we've got a rib going in right here. We've got this rib here that's curving around and going underneath. Now these ones here, this one, and these ones look like a different species. You can see how gracile they are, how much thinner and smaller those are. Those could possibly be a little theropod. These could be very cool. This is a different species of animal.
That's cool. So in amongst all this sauropod stuff, you've got a little theropod that got washed in also. That is insane. This is nuts, dude. I mean, this is insane. I mean, you've probably got like at least a year or two of work on this.
Oh yeah, it takes a long time. It's a lot of work.
I mean, this is insane. And what's wild is I mean, you know, it's just so hard to fathom. Here, these dinosaurs, there's bones like logs going down the river, getting jammed up of all these different species. I mean, that's a lot of death and destruction in this period.
Can you imagine the smell?
Oh yeah. I mean, that is just nuts. So that's cool. That's cool. All right, we're gonna go check out some more stuff. So what do we got going on here?
So this is a jacket that we pulled out already. This is actually a bunch of vertebrae in a line. There's 3 vertebrae in a line in this jacket. Piece of a spinal column that's all intact. And that was actually on top of that scapula. It took a lot of work to get it off and actually pull it off the top without damaging that scapula.
So this was on top of that scapula right there.
Yeah, it's part of that log jam. So this one we turned over. We were able to fix the top and put the jacket on. So this one's ready to pick up and get out of here and get out of the way.
So when you get this back, so you're gonna take this back home, I assume?
Yeah, we'll take it back home.
Take it back home. What are you gonna do next?
We'll cut the top off this jacket, we'll pull it off, and then we can use the air tools and the air scribes and work it down and prepare it out, get the dirt off it, get the rock off it, and prepare it the correct way.
Yeah.
You can't do that out here in the field.
Yeah, no, that makes total sense. Yeah. And then when you're finished, you'll have awesome dinosaur bones ready to go.
There'll be nice vertebrae on stands that, you know, you can have a piece of a dinosaur.
That's so cool, man. And see, that's just it. You can have any kind of experience that you want to out here with this, you know. It's like Tony up here.
She's working. I mean, most people when they look at this giant stuff, they get a little intimidated. They go, "Oh my gosh, how do you work this stuff?" We dig dinosaurs. Hold up your knife, Tony. We dig dinosaurs with steak knives.
Hold on, this is just any steak. This is cool. This is a dinosaur. This is a steak knife with a dinosaur bone handle. So I don't.
It's the gym bone.
It's the gym bone. I don't know what's up with that. But digging dinosaurs with dinosaur bone knives. Yeah, that's pretty awesome, dude.
But yeah, I mean, you're not, I mean, we do some hammering, shoveling, some stuff like that, but the majority of it, you're working it down carefully with steak knives so you're not damaging the bones and getting it off, and then you're able to stabilize it as you go and stuff.
Okay.
You know, and then there's also the salt and pepper layer here has all the small stuff in it. You basically are just pulling pieces off it and breaking it and looking for teeth, and it's full of little bone fragments and pebbles and tumbled pieces and little limbs. So it's not all, you don't have to be, you know, this big in shape guy to dig dinosaur bones.
Right.
I mean, we have 75-year-old people come out here and do this. We have kids do this. It's not something that you have to be, you know, some superhero to do this stuff. Anybody can do this.
Yeah, and see, and that's the thing, guys. You know, anybody can come down here. They can do this. You know, you're going to find everything from teeth, small bones, big bones. You're going to find the whole lot. But the biggest thing is, you're going to have an awesome time.
Oh, yeah.
You are going to have an awesome, awesome time. So, Ty, thanks for having us out to your site, man. If people want to contact you, get a hold of you, how can they do that?
Probably the best way to do it is by email. It's ty.lamph@hotmail.com. Or you can look us up on Facebook, Utah Dump Digger, and follow what we're doing all the time.
And see, they got a great Facebook page, because you guys aren't only digging dinosaur stuff, you guys are digging everything.
We do all sorts of stuff, yeah.
If it's in the ground,
yeah,
you're digging it.
I've never met a rock I didn't like, so we're always involved in something.
Stay tuned to the end of this episode, and we'll have his information thrown up. And guys, come out and do this. This is awesome. We appreciate y'all for watching. Be sure to like this video if you liked it. Subscribe, because we've got a lot of other episodes with Ty, and we're going to do a lot more with him in the future. So, dude, thank you
we'll
so
see
much, man. I appreciate it. Remember, history rocks. We will never, ever, ever be on Twitter. Twitter is evil. That's why we're not on Twitter. But you can follow us on Facebook and YouTube and all those other stuff. Oh yeah, that's the good stuff. See, I feel myself exfoliating right now. Oh, that's awful. Why did I do that?
It's the
You're
same.
welcome.